What episode number is this?
I think it's 5.
Holy cow. Okay.
We've been doing this for 5 weeks. What?
Oh my God. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bibbidi Bobbidi Blondes. I'm Savannah.
I'm Carter.
And this is going to be episode 5. So before we dive into our topic for today, Carter, we have some exciting Disney news, don't we?
We have very exciting Disney news. I mean, I feel like this is probably the biggest Disney news that we've had
100%. I
so
mean, because
far.
there's two parts to it.
There is. The first part is that on May 31st, 2024 packages will be available to book. So that's so exciting. Love that. And I feel like, honestly, and probably arguably, the biggest part is that
Definitely the biggest.
dining plans are back. Well, for 2024, they're back. So if you are
Yay!
going, if you're going after January 9th of
Mhm.
2024, you can have a dining plan on
Yes,
your
and
package.
dining plans haven't been available since pre-COVID. So
Yeah.
it is really fantastic. Previously, there was 4 options. This time there are
Hmm.
going to be 2.
Too.
Very excited about that. One is quick service Disney dining plan, and one is the
Hmm.
regular Disney dining plan.
And those are the same, aren't they? Like they didn't change those from
No.
pre-COVID. They just, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And and we'll post more information about it on our socials, but
Yeah.
essentially it allows you a certain amount of credits for snacks, quick service,
Hmm.
and for the regular dining package, table service credits. It's
Yeah.
really great because you don't have to worry about um paying for all that stuff when you're actually there. You can
Hmm.
plan it ahead of time, so you can go ahead and budget that out. Really
And
fantastic. I love it personally.
it kind of makes you, I mean, I like to say it makes you feel like, but I mean, it feels a lot more all inclusive. It feels a
Oh,
lot more
100%.
like once you pay for it, because that's how it works.
Yeah,
But I mean, once you're there, if you wanted to buy a snack out of pocket, like you
like
could.
you
It's not
can. You
limiting you, but it
It
feels
also just
exciting.
it's exciting, and it also helps you budget better for your trip.
It
So that
does.
way already planned out, you don't have to worry about it. And I know
Hmm.
personally, for me, 9 times out of 10 when I'm talking to clients, a new
Hmm.
client, they say, "Are dining plans back yet?" And
Yeah,
we've been waiting for this for a long time. I know I'm
a
excited.
long time.
Very excited.
I'm very excited. I love the dining plan. And you honestly you look at it and you're like, one quick service, one
Like,
table service.
that's
No,
it, but
it's so much
per
food.
person per day, it's so much
So
food.
much food.
And
It's great.
the snack credits, Carter.
Yes,
You can
because we
use
know how much we love our snacks.
your snack girlies,
Snack
as everyone
girlies.
knows, just not the plastic cheese for Carter.
No, it should not even count as any sort of credit.
Snack
They
credit,
should make you pay for it because that's how horrible it is.
Carter. You have hurt my feelings.
I'm so sorry.
Fine.
Um,
But
so
you
bef
can use them
oh,
on like the Mickey Rice Krispie treats and like the sweets at the candy shop, which I mean, at least I'm hoping because that was the case previously. So hopefully
I think
that'll be the
so.
case again.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's
Um,
big news.
Big
And if you
exciting
listened
news.
to our last episode, Carter, where were you last Friday?
I was at Taylor Swift. Any of the Swifties that may listen to us, she announced Speak Now, Taylor's version at our concert. It was one of the greatest moments of my entire life. I almost lost my voice, but for some reason I didn't. I don't know how, to be honest, because I was screeching the entire time. I have not taken my friendship bracelets off. They're still on. Um, and it was fantastic. If you are going to go see her, prepare because it was the best concert I've ever been to in my entire life. And I was crying literally the entire night on Friday, but also so was Savannah,
So
but for
was Sam.
different reasons.
So first, before I get into my stuff, I just want to say, so, oh my gosh, look at him. Look at him. Us stunning. Stunning. Before I get into why I was crying Friday, I
Oh,
asked
okay.
her to send me videos of her at the concert, and every single one starts, oh. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why we're besties. Because
Literally, when the Reputation snake appeared on the screen, My soul left my body. I was
Also,
unwell.
can we insert a picture here of you at the concert? Because you were
Yeah.
adorable.
Thank you so much. I was dressing as Reputation, my favorite Taylor album. My queen. I love her.
Really, really quick, what's your all-time favorite Taylor song?
Getaway Car. I have it right here.
Stunning.
I also have Miss Americana. That's
Love it.
backwards. And I have Back to December.
Oh, I love those. So my favorites are Love Story,
Love it.
You Belong With Me, Wildest
Hmm.
Dreams,
Hmm.
and Don't Blame
Don't
Me.
blame me. When she transitioned
Airball.
from Don't Blame Me into Look What You Made Me Do.
That is the best. You sent me the video. I lost it. Best transition ever.
Like the best. It's really funny because when I showed my mom all the videos and everything, she was like, it doesn't sound like you're on a roller coaster. I'm sorry, it doesn't sound like you're like, woo, on a roller coaster, like cheering. You're like, yes, I love Taylor.
No,
It sounds like someone's chopping your arms off. And I was
no,
like,
it's guttural. It's
because
feral.
it is.
It's feral
It
because
is.
we are.
It is. But yeah, Getaway Car is my favorite. Don't Blame Me is up there. Back to December. Love it.
Oh, Taylor Lautner.
Love it. I love Style.
Oh, yeah.
Style's great. I really love the entirety of Speak Now and Reputation. Like if like those two are probably my favorites, but also Evermore holds a special place in my
Oh,
heart.
stunning.
But it's
Did you
probably
play any Taylor Swift at your wedding?
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but like, did you? Because so, for example, I had a string trio and I walked out to Wildest Dreams, and then they played Love Story when we walked back down the aisle.
See, mine was Disney.
Oh, well,
I did Disney instead of
that's on brand.
Taylor. But Taylor was played at the reception.
Okay, perfect.
We danced to Taylor. Multiple songs.
Perfect.
I think the second song they played at our reception was Shake It Off, and that like really brought everybody into the dance floor. Even though I was kind of like, out of all of them, that's the one you're gonna pick is Shake It Off. But everyone loved it. So I was like, I don't want to be like a fake fan, like Shake It Off. Like that's the one. But everyone really was they were like they loved it. So it was great.
Love that for you.
I wanted them to play Back to December so that I could sing I Missed Your Tan Skin, Your Sweet Smell, So Good to Me, So Right. But I was like, probably not at my wedding.
Probably not my wedding because Zach is not tan.
No, he's not. He can get tan, but he's not.
No. Good to know.
Oh, but anyways,
I'm glad your Friday was good.
because I was gonna say that I thought you were about to talk about what you were doing Friday. That's why I showed you my shirt.
I
Look
know.
look at him.
I had to throw some more
Look at
Taylor.
him. I love Taylor. Anytime. Taylor Swift podcast.
Listen, I
We
saw
could make a
Guardians
whole
of
podcast.
yes, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on Friday. And going into it, I knew that it was mainly about Rocket and his past, the Grand Devil.
Wait. Before we keep going, if you haven't seen it, maybe skip forward, and we'll put timestamps. So if you don't want any spoilers,
I'm gonna talk mad spoilers. So like, if
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you haven't seen it, skip it.
This part, do not listen past this. Spoiler alert.
We'll put timestamps. So then you can skip forward. But okay, continue.
By we, she means her because I'm old and I'm not that good with technology.
Okay, but if you're gonna talk about this, you can't make me cry because if you go into it, I'm gonna start crying.
I will not get into the really graphic. I won't get into the graphic stuff.
I won't be gentle. Because I'm fragile about this subject.
Be gentle. Okay. I knew going in it would be about Rocket and his backstory, and I knew his backstory was tragic. I didn't know that it would make me want to vomit. It made me sick to my stomach, and I'm not going to go into gross details because it was graphic. It was violent.
Yeah. They need a warning in front of the movie.
They should have warned people.
Yeah.
Like, if I had not researched on my own because I'm a nosy lady, then if I had gone in not knowing some stuff, I probably would have walked out, to be completely transparent. It was, even in the first 2 minutes of the movie, I felt sick to my stomach. What they did to Rocket, because I knew it was about a high evolutionary.
Yeah.
But it was so much worse than I thought it would be.
And it wasn't just Rocket, it was, like, it was specifically about him, but it was, like, he was doing that to all of the animals that were
All of
there.
these
Yeah,
creatures.
yeah,
And you see Rocket's friends, and again, sick to my stomach seeing so Lila,
terrible.
Teefs, and Floor are his 3 animal buddies. They think that they're part of some grand plan to go to the new world that the high evolutionary is making, and that's why he's doing these horrible things and
Doesn't
modifying.
make any sense anyways, but
No, it doesn't,
whatever.
but that's what they were telling themselves, like, "It's gonna be
Mhm.
worth this."
Yeah,
Rocket basically finds out that no, they're abominations, they're not perfect, they don't get to go to the new world.
yeah.
He's like, "I'm gonna kill you and your friends, and
And your
I'm
little
gonna"
dog too.
Carter, plug your ears. He's like, "I'm gonna take out your brain and look at it tomorrow and see how it works." Ha! And throws Rocket in the cage. Rocket starts doing his rocket thing. He collects little pieces that he's been hiding throughout his cage. He's like, "I made a key card. We're gonna get on a rocket and I'm gonna fly us away from here."
Look at
Look
him.
at that man.
Look at
A
him. 10
man.
out of 10. A
10 out of
man,
10.
not a raccoon.
A man. Um, and he unlocks himself and Flora because him and Flora are in the same cage. He gets his friends, they're about to escape. He and Lila hug for the first time, who, by the way, doesn't have arms. He chopped off her arms and gave her little metal rod arms. It's terrifying.
Which I don't understand, like,
In the
if
comics, they didn't do that.
but I'm saying, like, if his, like, I guess his plan is that he wants to create a perfect society, why would her arms have anything to do with a perfect
So he
society?
knew that batch wasn't perfect. He was just experimenting on them to see what
Cool.
would happen, basically.
Okay, great.
Torture for
Um,
torture. And they're awake when all
so
this happens, by the way.
yeah, I'm sure, which is why I haven't seen it, and which is why I
You're
read
not
the spoilers and Savannah told me these things and I bawled my eyes out. So I can't
literally
go see it.
10 minutes into the movie, I'm on my watch messaging Carter. I'm like, Carter, you can't watch this.
No,
This is, I
I can't.
literally, she was like, are you okay? And I said, no.
No. And I was
I-
like, here's All Too Well by Taylor Swift. Here, listen to this. That's all I can tell you.
it was horrible. And the ending was good. Rocket's fine. He doesn't die, ends on a great note. However, after Rocket frees his friends, you hear a bang. He's hugging Lila. Lila has a hole in her chest, and the Grand Evolutionary kills them all right before they're about to escape. In the floor is a bunny whose limbs were removed and has metal spider legs.
I
I
really can't
will
feel bad for
vomit.
him. I can't feel bad for that one.
Literally me. I was
He
like, I
makes me
feel so
uncomfortable
bad that I just am grossed out.
that I'm grossed out by this one.
And Floor's panicking, like Lila was shot. She was like, "We have to leave, we have to leave, we have to leave." Rocket Teef's Floor, go, Rocket Teef's Floor, go. And then he shoots her. And all of them die, and then Rocket escapes, goes onto a rocket ship. And the whole synopsis of the movie is the high evolutionaries trying to get Rocket back because Rocket was the most intelligent thing he ever made. In fact, more intelligent than him himself. He wants Rocket's
Because
brain
he's
to finally make the perfect
incredible.
stuff. It was a great movie, and I will say it is one of the best Marvel films I've ever seen, and one of the best films, period, I've ever seen. I cannot watch it again.
I feel like
I
that if you have been listening and either you wanted the spoilers or you have seen it and know people that are going to see it, I would just, if they are like me and can't
don't go.
handle it, I would
Mm-mm.
probably inform them that, like, it's pretty rough and it's
It's
not
great.
like it's not like Endgame where your, like, heart is wrenched out, but then, like, you're kind of like, but it was okay. Like, obviously it's so sad, but, like, it's okay. Whereas this one is just really kind of
It's graphic.
and graphic and hard,
It
and I
made
don't
me,
do well
yeah.
with animals, and I like that all, like, it's not just that it was Rocket. Like, if it would have been
It was all the poor
something
animals
else,
and
yeah.
children.
Yeah.
He
And
has
kids, by
children.
the way.
The
Terrible,
animals
terrible.
I felt worse for. But tell me I'm
They
wrong.
but they also, like, they are CGI little baby animals. Like, of course you're gonna feel terrible for them.
It
That's
was
what Disney does to us. Like, I'm
so
so
hard.
sorry, but
I really wish I had known how graphic it was gonna be because not only was I upset, and by the way, I cried the entire time. I never stopped crying. I was
I
clutching
wouldn't.
my husband, and he was so sweet because honestly, I would have been annoyed with myself. Like,
You can't, no,
stop being.
like, that's a tough, it doesn't matter if it's Marvel or not. That I like that's a tough,
It
like,
was a tough thing to watch.
no. But I
I
would
never
just
stopped crying the whole movie.
I've seen a lot of TikToks where people are like, "I love the MCU again. Guardians 3 is the best movie of the year." And I'm like, I'm really glad that they're getting all of that, and I think that Rocket is getting the movie that he deserves,
Recognition
that
that he
like,
deserves.
he gets the recognition.
However,
But something that my husband told me that I love, love, love is that he said the Rocket that you saw in Guardians 1 and 2
mhm,
and Endgame and all of that, like, that Rocket is still the same Rocket. Like, he'd already gone through everything.
yes.
As terrible as that is, he's already gone through it.
All
He
of
is
the
alive. He has
yeah,
his new family, his new friends. Like, he's he's okay, as terrible as it is. Like,
and
he's
something I
yeah.
forgot to mention is all of these are flashbacks. This is stuff that's already happened
Yes.
to Rocket,
Yes.
made him who he is. Um,
There he
I
is.
mean, literally crying the entire time, heart-wrenching, but I can't describe how sick I felt. I felt so
Oh, I'm
sick.
sure. I'm sure. But
Great
he's
movie. Felt like
he's
crap.
and he's alive and nobody died.
Nobody.
Well, none of the
Well,
important
one
people died.
person died, but no one important.
Yeah, I was about to say the Guardians didn't die, so it's okay.
The Guardians didn't die.
Um, and
And Mantis
Rocket
is Mantis and Drax are so funny.
and Rocket's the new leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, as he should be. As
As
he
he
should
should be.
be.
As he
I
should be.
love him. I love Rocket
If
Raccoon.
if anything, it reaffirmed how much I love Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
And listen, if I was a raccoon or he was a human, listen. Listen.
I just want to say that now everyone's like, I love Rocket. And I was like, you know
Like I
what?
loved him.
I've loved him since the first movie, okay? I saw his
I've
little face on the
always
screen
loved
and I was
him.
like, oh, I love him. Love Rocket Raccoon. Stop. In the ride in Cosmic Rewind when he gets up
Oh,
to the little
God.
screen and like puffs his little nose on the screen, I love him. He's so
He's so
freaking cute. I love him. So that's our update.
our 15-minute long update.
On Taylor Swift
Um,
and Guardians of the Galaxy. So if you skipped over the spoilers, welcome back.
welcome back. We're
Uh,
totally fine.
synopsis,
Not
synopsis.
emotionally.
We love him. The amount of times I picked up my shirt, I just love him so much. Look at it.
We're
Look at
not
this
emotionally
baby.
destroyed. We're fine.
No, over Taylor Swift or Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, both. Yeah, both.
I cried so much on.
I love that for you. And I will say, and this isn't has nothing to do with spoilers, so everyone can
Yes,
hear it. At the end of the
yes.
movie, Carter, I looked, had sent me like 6 videos, and I put an AirPod in while we're waiting for the credits. And I put in an AirPod and listened to it. And my husband's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, listening to Taylor Swift.
Little to Taylor Swift. To the queen. Oh, she was
The
so
queen.
wonderful.
The queen.
Um, so this episode, since we talked about 2024 packages, we wanted to kind of touch on a nice overview of our favorite resorts, the different levels of the resorts,
At Disney
where you
World.
can stay on property at Disney World.
Yeah.
Um, so without further ado, Savannah, would you like to take it away with our first level of resort, which is
Yeah, the first
the
level of resort is
value?
value. So,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, the way Disney World resorts work, you can book resort and tickets together as a package. Right now, the way that works is when you book that, you only have to pay a $200 deposit. The rest isn't due until 30 days before your stay.
Mhm.
Really great for bundling it together. And the biggest plus is you're on site. The Disney World
Yes.
resorts are on Disney property. There's 20 plus, whereas Disneyland only has 3. And they have value resorts, which is something Disneyland really doesn't have. So value
No.
resorts are the most budget friendly option. And
Mhm.
something I always remind my clients is all Disney properties are going to have the same high level of Disney customer service.
Yes.
You know, they are going to do their best to make sure your stay is magical no matter what your budget is.
Mhm.
Um, and
It's
you'll still get the 30 minutes early into the parks. You still have the
yes.
bus transportation. It's just
Mhm.
going to be less expensive and have less amenities and
And
small.
it's just like a different experience. Like
It
if
is,
eh,
for sure.
depending on what kind of trip you're wanting to, like that also plays a large part in it.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you might be going for 3 days and you're just like, I just want a place to sleep, but we all want to stay on site. And if you want that, then obviously paying, upwards of $700 a night to stay at the Grand Floridian
Makes no sense.
isn't always the best option. Whereas
Right.
if you're going for a week, want some days to relax and enjoy the pool, I'm like, well, if that's kind of what you're wanting, I would maybe push you more towards this because the resort offers better amenities, has a bigger pool, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Like, so it doesn't, just because it's a value versus a deluxe, I say the same thing. It's never bad. Like, I have people
No,
that are like,
you're
is
at
it
Disney.
that bad? I'm like, no, it's
No.
wonderful. It's just a different experience. It's
Experience.
like
100%.
staying at Hilton versus staying at like a, what is it, the
Ritz-Carlton.
JW Marriott, the
Oh,
Westin, or whatever. What are you gonna
yeah.
say? Is that,
Um,
isn't that a fancy one? The JW
yes,
Marriott? Okay, that's
I
what I
think
thought.
so. I was saying the Ritz-Carlton because that
That's
reminds me
better.
of Deluxe Disney resorts. Uh,
Yeah, or the Waldorf Astoria, like
oh,
those.
love the Waldorf.
Yeah, like it's just, it doesn't mean that the Hilton is bad. It's just a
No, it's just a
totally
different
different
experience.
experience. Yeah.
So, for
Anyway.
example, the value resorts, especially the All Stars in particular, All Star
Mhm.
Sports, All Star Movies,
Mhm.
and All Star Music, those are geared toward those with a stricter budget. Like,
Mhm.
for example, if I have a client who says, we are literally just going to be sleeping there, we have a smaller budget and we want to focus on experiences
Mhm.
in the parks, spend
Yeah,
more money on dining, and we just need somewhere to sleep
to
and have
sleep.
the perks of the Disney resort.
Mhm.
I'll recommend one of the values. And those who have a little more room in their budget, I'm going to recommend Art of Animation
Yes.
or recommend it for larger families. So, especially for families that have like 3 or 4 kids that can't fit in a
Mhm.
standard room with just 2 queen beds.
Mhm.
Because the family suites at Art of Animation,
Mhm.
um, they have 3 queen beds, if I'm correct. Right, Carter?
They have one queen bed and two full beds.
And two full beds.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct. So it allows more space, which is
Mhm.
great.
You can
Um,
sleep up to 6 adults in the family suites, and I have stayed in a Art of Animation family suite before. So,
which one did you stay in? Because they have 3 different themes, right?
we stayed in the Cars one because that
Cool.
was the only
Option.
option. We
Okay.
wanted the Lion King, but it was sold out. So we stayed
And
in the Cars one.
Cars and Lion King are the same price, but
Mhm.
Finding Nemo is more expensive because
Yes.
Finding Nemo is near the big blue pool, which I will
Yes.
say is a
So
great
cool.
pool for a value resort. Like that
Yes.
pool is awesome.
And the something I learned, I don't know if you know this, but something, I mean, I know that you know it now, but like before I started this job,
Yeah.
I didn't know that the value resorts had pools that did not have a water slide. Like that's a strict thing for moderate and deluxe
I
hotels.
actually did not know that
Yeah.
previously.
So like if somebody says my kids love to swim, we want a water slide, I'm like
Moderate or deluxe.
moderate deluxe. And I think that's so funny. And that's not something that you would think about, but
No,
it's
you
just
really
something of
wouldn't.
like a different perk. But then if you look at the big blue pool, it's a huge pool. There's a splash pad. There's like all these fun
Cool, fun
decorations and
characters,
theming.
but there's
Yeah,
no slide.
but there's no slide.
Isn't it true the big blue pool plays water or music underwater?
Yes,
I think that's so cool.
which is so cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Art of Animation, like the rooms are in the hallways inside the hotel, whereas like Pop Century and the All Stars
Uh,
open to like,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good to
something that
know.
was different. Yeah. At
What
least
would
the family suite did.
what would you say is your family favorite of the values?
Art of Animation.
Yeah, for sure. Art of Animation.
Um, yeah. I
Because I
think
mean,
if
it's
you, oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, Art of Animation is really over the top with their theming, which
Exactly what I was gonna say.
I love. But if you're a young couple that's like,
Mhm.
we're on a budget, we want to go, I'm probably gonna steer you more towards Pop Century because
Yes,
the rooms themselves are not as themed. So
right.
it doesn't feel like you're sleeping in a clamshell with Ariel if that's not the vibe you're going for. You
If
know what I
that's not
mean?
the vibe. Um, and the Little Mermaid rooms are the standard rooms at Art of Animation with the two
Mhm.
queen beds. And
Yes.
what I say when people tell me, this is my kid's first trip to Disney, or we want in your face Disney,
Disney.
Art
Yeah.
of Animation,
Hmm.
100% the way to go. They
Yeah.
have giant statues of the characters around the
Yes.
property. They have these essentially walk-through scenes, is the way I describe it. Like,
Yeah.
with Simba and Timon and Pumbaa walking over the log.
And
Um,
it's so colorful.
it's so colorful and it
Mhm.
really is. And excuse me, it is really in your face Disney. So if
It's the
you
only
want,
one,
it's
right?
the
It's
only one
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
If you wanna turn and there's a character, if you wanna look over your shoulder and be like, "Oh, I am in Disney World."
Disney.
Art of animation,
They
young
should
couple.
make they should make a Rocket Raccoon just whole hotel.
Mhm.
The Guardians of the Galaxy slash Rocket Raccoon
Yeah, specifically.
themed hotel. Specifically Rocket Raccoon.
And the room you stay in could be decorated with all the gadgets and, like, mechanical arms.
Yeah, so
Sorry
the
about
room
that.
you could sleep in could be that, or it could be the Quinjet, or no, I'm sorry, the Milano. That's it. Their ship is the Milano.
Yeah, let's do that.
At Disney, make a Guardians of the
At
Galaxy
Disney World.
slash
Okay,
Rocket Raccoon
idea,
hotel.
and you know how they have Galactic Star Cruiser? That, but Guardians.
I would pay so much money. I
It
would
would
pay
so much
so
money.
much money.
It would drain my savings account. Take out a second mortgage on my
Oh,
house. Yeah.
that's really brilliant.
Thanks.
I love
Thanks.
it.
Thanks.
Um,
But back
so
to the resorts. And so if it were me and my husband,
yeah.
go back to the chair. No,
Is Sadie
she got up to the door and pawed at it. I'm sorry. Anyway, if it were me and my husband and we were like, okay, we're gonna get a quick trip in, it needs to be
Mhm.
budget friendly, we would stay at Pop. Because I
Yeah.
definitely feel like it's more not even adult theming, but less,
The
experience
rooms themselves, like inside, are less themed. The outside is still pretty themed.
themed, but it's like centuries and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 70s, 80s.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Carter, what is the advantage of Pop and Art of Animation that it has over most of the other resorts, even Modern and
Certain
Deluxe,
Deluxe. It's on the Skyliner.
which takes you directly to both Hollywood Studios,
Mhm.
Epcot, the Riviera, and
Mhm.
Caribbean Beach. So
Yes.
huge plus of staying at one of those.
Yeah, so, like, when I stayed at Pop Century for one
Oh,
night.
yeah,
Um,
tell us about it.
I did, and we had
You and
breakfast
Logan.
reservations. Yes, and we had breakfast reservations at Topolino's Terrace,
Oh, 10 out of
and
10.
so then we took the Skyliner from Pop Century to the Riviera and
Mhm.
then went to Epcot, which was great
Oh,
because it was just all on the Skyliner.
that's
Um,
so how quickly did you
yeah,
get from Pop Century to Topolino's?
like 10 minutes. Because
Wow.
you, like, take it to the station, you get off, you get on the different line, so, like, that took a second,
It's so much faster because you would have to take a bus to one of the parks, then a bus at
yes,
one of the parks
yes,
to
yes,
Riviera. So
yes.
that's a huge time saver.
It's very the Skyliner, I think, and honestly, I didn't realize it until I actually did it for the first time, but it's a really big, like, player in where you wanna stay, if that's, like, a big, because a lot of people think monorail, and I'm like, "The
Mhm.
monorail's wonderful, but the
But it's more
Skyliner
expensive.
is faster."
It's
So
Skyliner's not only faster,
mhm.
the resorts tend to be more budget friendly.
Yes, for where you wanna stay. So,
I'm gonna keep in
those are
mind.
the yeah, and the values I think Pop Century is probably the most popular
I
value
would
because
say
it is on the Skyliner.
yeah,
Um, I would honestly argue if you had a family, like, so a family of 4 is the max that can fit in there unless you have an infant.
right.
Then that could be a family of 5. But the only thing that I would say to keep in mind would be those rooms are pretty small. So
They
if
are.
you do have, like, 4 people and everyone's adults, or if
Mm,
you have 5 people and one of them is a baby, like, the rooms are pretty small,
they
so
are.
keep
So
that in
something to keep in
mind.
mind.
Yeah.
If you are literally just going there to sleep, you're gonna be there rope drop to
Yes, it's not
end.
a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
But,
Something else
go
to
ahead.
keep in mind, moderate and deluxe resorts have multiple dining options.
Yes.
The value resorts
In the
typically
resort.
in the resort
Yeah.
have typically one food court style
Yes.
option.
Yes.
So just something to keep in mind. And luckily it is an option. It's got good stuff, breakfast, lunch,
Yeah.
dinner, late night snacks, but it does have less amenities because again, people are spending less time at the
Yes.
resort, time at the
Yes.
park.
So, like, if you wanted to have a resort that you could go and get a sit down meal at,
Mhm.
a value is not gonna be your
Right,
go-to,
right.
versus if you're like, "I wanna go grab a Mickey waffle and a slice of pizza," like, great, you go for it. That's 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Um, But the only reason I bring up the rooms is just because when it was Logan and I staying in there, we only stayed there one night, so it wasn't a big deal. But like my thought was like there's one sink. So
Mhm.
if there was 4 or 5 people, you would have to like rotate who's using the
Right.
sink. There's the toilet and the shower are separate, so you can have like kind of 2 people getting ready at the same time. But the moderate and the deluxe resorts have 2 sinks,
Yeah.
and the surface area of like the actual room is,
Mhm.
or the square footage, I guess, is like a little bit bigger for storage and that kind of thing. So if you have like 2 or 3 people going, or you are 2 adults and 2 young kids, like I think that's plenty of room.
Right.
But my thought was when I was staying there was like, I feel like for adults in here could
Would be
get you could it could feel pretty crowded if you're planning on staying in the room for long periods of time.
absolutely,
So
completely agree.
yeah,
And I guess that brings us to the moderate category. So, Carter, do you want to tell us what makes the moderates different from the values?
I do because I'm a big moderate gal. I love the
Love a
moderate.
moderate.
Love a moderate. My family grew up staying at Riverside. So it's
Oh,
Port
stunning.
Orleans, yeah. It's Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter.
Which are two different
And
resorts
yeah, it's one big like
property.
property, but it's split into 2 resorts. So we grew up staying at moderates. I have stayed at other places, like I've said, I stayed at Pop Century, stayed at Art of Animation, stayed stayed at a couple of deluxes, but like Riverside, whenever someone says, "I want the one that's like the Louisiana Bayou," I'm like, "Riverside, I got you. I know Riverside. I
I'm a
got
stan for
Riverside."
Riverside.
Right?
I listen, so I stayed there a couple times when I was younger, hadn't been in several years.
Uh-huh.
And like you stayed at Pop Century with Logan the
Mhm.
night before our
Yeah.
company trip, before
Yeah.
I knew anybody and was going by myself. I picked the Riverside to stay at for the first night.
Yeah.
I got there and I was blown away because I hadn't stayed there
Mhm.
since they renovated it.
Yeah.
I loved it. The rooms were way bigger than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And 2 queen beds, very comfortable.
Mhm.
The bathrooms have been refurbished.
Mhm.
The shower was lovely. I mean, just the overall feel, the
Yeah.
southern charm, overall vibe. The
Yeah.
buildings were beautiful, and it's a pretty large resort in
It
terms
is.
of there's a lot of buildings, a bit more
Mhm.
walking than I expected, but it
Mhm.
was gorgeous. So I didn't mind it because the
Yeah.
beauty buildings are beautiful. There's fountains, luscious green lawns. There's a
Mhm.
beautiful river that runs through the resort.
Mhm.
Um, and the dining options, listen,
So
they have
good.
these, they have, shrimp and grits,
Mm.
they have gumbo. I mean, really more than just
Mhm.
the one food court style option, which
Yes.
they did have open late. I didn't get to my resort until like
Mhm.
10 p.m.
Yeah.
I got myself a great chicken Caesar salad and
Love it.
some chicken tenders and fries because that's who I am as a person.
I love
Balance.
it. I love
Balance.
it.
So good. I've never enjoyed myself more. It was the perfect night. I was nervous to be by myself. First time ever stayed in a hotel by myself. I was so nervous. And the minute I walked on the property, I was like,
Oh, this is
this is
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I literally,
Riverside, the even like the architecture is
it's
beautiful. Like
beautiful.
it's so pretty. I am a huge Riverside fan.
Huge
I
Riverside fan.
love it.
Well, Tyler and I
I
almost booked Riverside, but we did Animal
oh
Kingdom Lodge so that we would have access to the
deluxe evening
extra magic
hours.
hours because of
Yep.
deluxe, which we'll get to. But
Yes.
love Riverside. I think it rivals some of the deluxe resorts. It's not as
Oh,
fancy, but it is nice. And it is the good mid-price option, tons of dining
very.
options, multiple pools. One has a slide.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, it's lovely. It's beautiful. I love it.
I think something to note too, that I don't think we talked about was with the values, taking the Skyliner aside, they only have one bus stop at the values. It's at the front of the
That's right.
lobby.
That's correct.
So if you are unfortunately in the very back, like I was,
Mhm.
you had to walk all the way to the front. to get to
Mhm.
the bus.
Which is why I
Whereas
recommend preferred rooms.
preferred
They're
rooms,
closer.
yes, and it's only like $10 a night more most of the time
It's really
to
worth it.
stay. Yeah, it is. But with the moderates and the deluxes, but we're focusing on moderates, there's like multiple bus stops throughout the resort. So you're not walking all the way to the lobby every morning. You're walking to like an area where the bus stop is. And it might still be a walk, but it's not
But not as
as
much.
far.
Right.
So I think that's something also that's pretty important to think
I
about
agree.
is when you're, thinking about walking, like that's why what experience do you want? Like what kind of like what are you wanting? What's important to you? So
Right.
anyway, that's something. Also with Riverside and the French Quarter, because it's one property, fun
Mhm.
fact, you can use both pools. So if you wanted
That's
to walk
true.
over to the French Quarter pool,
Mhm.
you can.
You can.
Totally
And the
available to you.
theming of the Port Orleans pools are so
They're
cute. It's,
so fun.
Fantasia themed.
Yes.
I
It's
love
so cute. And I always get very highly rated feedback from
Oh,
my
100.
clients that go to Riverside.
I've never
Um,
had a client have a bad experience. And not to
no,
say like clients have bad experiences, but everyone's had overwhelmingly positive
good.
feedback
Yes,
about Riverside.
Riverside.
It's
I And also if you either have a little girl that loves princesses or you're like me, a grown adult who loves princesses, and wants to stay in a princess room, they have Princess Tiana's royal guest rooms
it's so
um at Riverside, and it's Princess Tiana has decorated this room for all of her princess friends to come and visit, and it's totally decked out in like the most tasteful, elegant
it's cute.
princess decor.
Insert picture here.
Yeah, yes, insert picture here because it's so cute. I had a client who took his daughter, well, their family, and his daughter loved Princess Tiana, and they did a split stay between Caribbean Beach and Riverside, and they were like, we didn't want to leave Riverside because we loved it so much, and my daughter loves Princess Tiana, and she wanted to stay here the whole time. And I was like, so glad to hear it. I love Riverside.
Perfect.
So nice. So, now that we have decided that, like, confirmed that we're Riverside fans,
We're
Riverside fans through and through. Savannah, tell me about your favorite resort to send couples to.
Oh my gosh, Coronado Springs. Coronado Springs. First
Hmm.
of all, largest hot tub on Disney property. Gonna throw that out.
I didn't know that.
That I
Okay.
literally tell that to all my guests because it's true. But who doesn't love a hot tub?
Love a
Um,
hot tub.
I love Coronado Springs for so many reasons. But honestly, since the refurbishment, it has deluxe feel. The rooms are
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it rivals some of the deluxe rooms. Um,
Especially Grand Destino Tower.
oh, 100%. It's
Yeah.
so nice. The
Yeah.
rooms are great. Also, they have multiple pools.
Hmm.
Not only multiple pools, but the pools are nice. The biggest one, the Lost, I'm gonna butcher how to say it, Kibola? Lost
I
City
don't know.
Kibola pool. That's what I'm gonna call it.
You've
It is
probably honestly seen it before. Like it's the
It has a 50-foot temple
yeah.
with water cascading down it. It
Yeah.
is stunning. It's got a
Yeah.
jaguar slide, which is really fun. And then
Hmm.
it's also great for families because there's a lot of activities. There's a really great play area called the
Hmm.
dig site.
Yes.
Um, there's play structures, there's
Hmm.
splash stuff.
Hmm.
It has volleyball, it has so much to do. So
Yeah.
it's great for couples because it has the more deluxe adult feel, but it's also
Hmm.
great for families because it has the best moderate pools, in my opinion.
Doesn't
Better,
it have a rooftop bar
it
too?
does. And it has multiple dining restaurants,
Mhm. Yes.
lounges, great places for drinks, great food. It's just
Yes.
a really good resort.
It
Um,
is.
so my two biggest moderate ones that I always tell my clients about,
Mhm.
Coronado Springs and
Mhm.
Riverside. It is
Mhm.
fantastic. I would say
Yeah.
Riverside's more charming, but I would say
Yeah.
Coronado Springs is more modern. You
I
know what I mean?
agree. I
In
agree
the
100%.
design. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
also think the location of both, so Riverside is closer to Disney Springs,
mhm.
and Coronado is closer to Animal Kingdom Lodge, so that's a little bit further of a bus ride to the parks, But I
Yes.
feel like the other features of Coronado Springs, like, make up for
Outweigh
its
distance.
location. Because it's not a bad location, it's just a
No,
little
and
bit
none of them are
out.
crazy far. It's just further than some of
Yeah.
the other options.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the Contemporary, you can walk to Magic Kingdom, but Animal Kingdom Lodge, you could, you're right there next to Animal Kingdom. Like, it's just
there's
different.
pros and cons of every resort.
Yes,
But
yes,
when it comes to moderates, I would definitely say Coronado Springs
yeah,
and Riverside are my
Riverside. Yeah,
great options. Now, I mean, of course, they're all good options. Caribbean Beach
yes,
is an option.
yeah.
Port Orleans French Quarter is a great option. Riverside and Coronado Springs are just the ones I think
They stand out.
they stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now moving on to the deluxe tier, this is going to be a very brief overview of several ones because there's so many.
There are so many deluxe resorts.
There's so many.
There
Like,
are more deluxe resorts than there are of any other category.
yeah, and like there's definitely something for everyone, like,
Mhm.
style wise and location
Oh, yeah.
wise. So like if someone comes to me and they're like, we want to feel like we're on a New England yacht club, I'm like, I got you.
Bestie, I got you.
Perfect. If they're like, we want to pretend like we're on, in Alani, I'm like, cool, got it.
Got it.
Here you go.
Polynesian.
Polynesian, here you go. Like there's
You want to feel like we're in Charleston with the colorful beach houses.
Mhm.
Beach Club. I
Beach
got you.
club. Yeah, like there's so many. So I feel like maybe we should just talk overview of the
Deluxe in
perks of
general.
staying at Deluxe, and then we can
Okay.
talk about our favorite.
I think that's perfect. So,
Okay.
biggest deluxe perks. Now, first, as a Disney resort
Mhm.
guest in general, no matter what level, you get to enter the
Mhm.
parks 30 minutes early.
Yes.
However, there's something called extra magic hours. Um,
Mhm.
specifically, a couple days a week, certain
Yes.
parks are open later. So, for
Mhm.
example, Magic Kingdom could be open till what was it open to? 1 a.m. when we
1
were
a.m. Yeah.
1 a.m. Only deluxe resort guests
Mhm.
get to experience that.
Mhm.
So not only is it that's a big perk that you get to do that, but not
Mhm.
as many other people get to do it. It is
And it's empty.
so empty.
We
When-
walked on to Seven Dwarfs,
Yep.
walked onto Space Mountain,
And the people mover,
and
Carter.
the people, we
And the
walked on the
people mover,
people
Carter.
mover.
We
Don't forget
watched
about the people mover.
the fireworks from the
From the
people.
people mover. We did. It
And
was magical.
the coolest thing, and one of the cool things is Carter, Logan, and I got to experience extra magic hours together.
Mhm.
We got more done in those extra magic
Yes.
hours than any of the others. The park
Yes.
feels deserted because
Mhm.
there's way less people there because all deluxe resort guests get to do it, but I feel like a decent amount don't because it's
It's
late.
late. Yeah.
Younger kids that can't hang, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
When we
Uh,
went this summer, when my family went this summer, we really took advantage of it. I
oh
feel
yeah,
like even more so than we did when we were there, because when we were there
right.
too, we were like going, going, going all
We
day.
were exhausted.
Yes. So when we
That's why,
went,
yeah.
in Magic Kingdom, we did the entirety of Fantasyland. We did Haunted Mansion. We did Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain. I mean,
Oh
truthfully, we
god.
did everything, I think, except for like Seven Dwarfs. Like we did so much. And
And that's
in
worth it
Epcot, we
right
did
there.
everything. Yeah, literally. Like I think I forget who said it. It was someone who was with us on the trip. So if you said it, I'm so sorry. I don't remember. But it was someone that was with us, and she was like, I really want to tell my clients how worth it this is, because
Yes, yes.
it's you if you're worried about lines, if you're worried about anything. I
It's
mean, Savannah,
worth
there
it
was
for that
nobody, there was
alone.
nobody
There's
there.
nobody
There was nobody
there.
there. Yeah.
It's
So
phenomenal. And ultimately, that was the decider for Tyler and I
mhm,
between Riverside and Animal Kingdom Lodge
yeah,
was the extra magic hours because
yeah.
not only do you get to stay in the park later,
Mhm.
there's nobody there.
There's
It's
nobody there.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like when we were there, Carter, Logan, and I,
Hmm.
we shopped for like an hour, and normally the shops
Hmm.
are quite busy, especially we
Yes.
were there over spring break. A lot of people
Hmm.
were there. We had the shops to ourselves. We got to
Yeah.
peruse. It
Yep.
was lovely. So
10 out
ultimately,
of 10.
10
10
out of
out
10.
of 10.
That was the decider for Tyler and I. And I will say on behalf of Animal Kingdom Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge is the most budget friendly of the deluxe resorts because it
Hmm.
is much farther out. It
Yes.
has the same amenities, the same perks.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite deluxes, quite frankly. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm there this fall. So, So it's not that big of a price difference between
Mm-mm.
that and some of the moderates. I mean,
Moderates. Yeah.
it was within a few $100s. Now, I will say we did upgrade to the Savannah View,
And that
which
can be more.
it's
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
So for us, it was a price jump for the Savannah, but you can
Sure.
barely see
Mhm.
giraffes and zebras and
Yeah.
wildebeests from your balcony. And you
Mhm.
have a balcony you can sit on. That was
Yeah.
the selling factor for Tyler. He was like, "Oh, we're doing it." That
I want to
is
see a
deluxe.
giraffe.
No, literally, he's like, because Tyler's a big porch and balcony guy.
Yeah.
People sit out there for hours, and he's like, I can sit out there and watch the animals as the
Yes,
sun
you can.
rises. And I was like,
Yes, you
great.
can.
Yes, you can, sweetheart.
Great.
Give me the credit
Well,
card.
and that's another thing, honestly, though, that to mention is that deluxe resorts have balconies and
Hmm.
moderates don't.
Nope.
Moderates don't have balconies. So,
And values don't as well.
no.
But I mean, to be able to sit, and that's also a big plus for parents. I feel like with young kids who are going to bed early and the parents can sit on the balcony,
Yeah.
right, watching the animals, or
So fun.
you're at Polynesian or Grand Floridian
Mhm.
or even the Contemporary, you
Mhm.
can see
The
from
fireworks.
theme park view rooms, you
Yes.
see the fireworks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how cool
Mm.
is that?
And they pump in the music, don't they?
Mhm.
So
Stunning,
that's stunning.
stunning. 10 out of 10.
So
Um,
animal we're both very avid fans of Animal Kingdom Lodge. I've stayed there twice now, and I
there 4 times.
get you.
Listen,
You're a
my
big
mom
AK Lodge fan.
my mom is a bougie lady. She listen, I will stay anywhere.
Yeah.
She only is a deluxe woman. I mean, we stayed at Riverside a couple of times and she
Uh-huh.
liked it, but
Yeah.
she is a bougie lady. She screams Grand Floridian, which we've stayed at a few times, and I have to say is probably arguably my favorite resort.
Yeah. I think the Grand Floridian is just better.
I mean, you're not wrong. Here, listen. I I think all the Disney resorts are great, but the only one
Mhm.
I personally wouldn't stay at is the
Mhm.
Contemporary.
I would just pay like if you're in my opinion for
I
that same
wouldn't pay the
price,
price that it's listed for.
I would rather stay at the Grand Floridian with the same price. That's my thing. Like
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's just I would rather stay
I don't know.
somewhere else.
The rooms are great.
Yeah.
It's a nice
The rooms
resort,
are cute.
but
Yeah, the
in
rooms are
my
cute.
opinion,
Mhm.
here's the thing. I don't do the heat. The
It's
Contemporary
hot.
is open
Mhm.
because the monorail goes through it, which is very
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
However, it's not temperature cool.
Yeah,
It's toasty.
it
I'm not
is.
a toasty lady.
It
Um,
is.
it's toasty.
It
And
is.
I feel like it doesn't have as many amenities as say as the Grand Floridian, the
Mhm.
Polynesian, because it is smaller. It's a small resort.
Yeah, it is
Um,
smaller.
and it's very expensive because it is the closest to Magic
Closest to
Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. I as deluxes go,
Mhm.
that's not usually like I think that if there are certain rooms that would be worth it to stay there and et cetera. But overall, I prefer the Grand Floridian. I prefer the
Oh,
Polynesian. I think the Grand Floridian, especially the new Mary Poppins themed rooms, are just stunning. They're beautiful.
listen, the chandelier has glass penguins on it.
Yep, yep. And the colors are
I
the pink and the blue and the oh, it's
it so
beautiful.
we went on our work trip, we got to tour the
Yes.
refurbished Contemporary,
Mhm.
Grand Floridian, and Polynesian rooms.
Mhm.
Hands down, I
Mhm.
think I like the overall resort vibe of Polynesian because it's
I
fun,
agree.
the volcano pool, but
I
the
agree.
rooms at the Grand Floridian are top tier.
Mhm.
Flush, nice, pinks and blues. I literally walked in the
Mhm.
hallways. I remember looking at Carter and being like, "This is how I want my house to
Yeah,
smell."
literally. And smell, by the way. I want it to smell
And
like that too.
smell, it smells so good. And when you walk into the Grand Floridian lobby, it just oozes class.
Oh, it's so it reminds me of like where Steve Rogers would stay.
Yeah, yeah, old-fashioned, fancy, high class.
Yes.
And
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful, and the lobby hasn't even been refurbished yet, but it will
Mhm.
be.
Mhm.
We don't know when it'll be
No,
done, but I
no.
can't wait to see it. I
I
love Floridian.
I think that the Polynesian, in my opinion, has better food options. I
Oh,
prefer the
100%,
food
yes.
at the Polynesian. And I think that the
It's more fun, I
Polynesian
would say.
I think so too. I personally recommend the Polynesian over the Grand
More
Floridian most of the time.
Yeah, but I personally would rather the
Where
Grand Floridian.
there's yeah, I think the same thing. Like it's I don't know, but then again, like we walked in the Polynesian rooms and I was like, wow, these are really good
They're
too.
really good. They're definitely more fun. Like, for
Yes.
example, when I have young kids,
Yes.
I would definitely take them there. If it
Yes.
was just me and my husband, or I was doing a girls' trip, Grand
Grand
Floridian.
Floridian. I agree.
And the
Yeah.
cool thing about being on the monorail is that you can visit the other resorts.
Mhm.
Now, you can't use the pools, but you
Yes.
can hop on the monorail and visit the restaurants, the
Yeah.
bars, things like that. It's
Yes.
really great. So,
So moving away from Magic Kingdom, let's talk about the Epcot resort area and Savannah's. Well, I don't want to say your favorite because your favorite's the Grand Floridian, but like your second favorite.
beach club. I'm a beach club girly. When my clients tell me we want to stay at a deluxe resort, it doesn't have to be on the monorail. Immediately beach club.
Beach Club.
Immediately beach club.
Yeah.
They arguably have the best pools on property.
Oh,
They
they
have
for
access
sure
to
do.
Stormalong Bay, which is a free mini water park.
What?
Excuse me? If people say we want to
With
have
sand. With sand in the bottom.
with sand, with sand. It's a
So
beach
cool.
beach
It's
club.
it's a beach.
Beach club. And it has one of my all-time favorite quick service restaurants,
Which one?
Peaches and Cream. It's an
I
ice cream shop.
I forget about beaches and
Love
cream,
Beaches and Cream.
man. Love beaches and
And they
cream.
have Cape May Cafe, which is an
Did you?
on-site character breakfast
Yeah.
with Minnie and friends.
Love
10 out of 10.
it.
Love it. The rooms are refurbished, so they're
Yes.
really nice.
Yes.
I love Beach Club. It is close to Epcot. You can
You
walk
can
to it.
walk.
It has
Mhm.
multiple great parks. It has Stormalong Bay. It's
Yeah.
literally right next to, like, here's Beach Club, here's Yacht Club, best
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Huntsman Steakhouse is at Yacht Club,
Mhm. It is.
delicious. Alien Compass, delicious. I'm
It's
a Beach Club girly. If I
it's
had all the money in the world,
I'm that's what I
listen,
would say.
split stay, Beach Club, Grand
Oh.
Floridian.
Oh, that's really yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I think that honestly, I personally forget about the beach club a lot because when
People
someone
do.
says yeah, when
It's
people
not on the
say,
monorail.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, okay, let me think, like, but honestly, as the same thing with Riverside, when people go to the beach club, they're like,
Everyone.
I love it here. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I love it. I stayed there when I was really little, so I don't really remember. I remember the pool and I remember the sand in the bottom of the pool. I was like 6, so I don't remember a lot of it, but I
I
do remember that.
remember the
I
sand.
remember the sand. But I had a client one time tell me, so the boardwalk is also a deluxe resort and it is being refurbished because the rooms
As we
are
speak.
pretty dated.
They are pretty dated.
So she was like, "We don't love the rooms at the boardwalk, but we like the vibe of the boardwalk." And I was immediately like, "Okay, beach club. Like that's next one because you could walk to Epcot. You're so close in that little area. Like it's if you are going that's another one. Like I think Coronado Springs for couples, and I also think like Boardwalk, Beach Club, Yacht Club for couples
Oh, for
because
sure.
it feels a little bit more um
High
elevated.
end. Yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of times when couples or like groups of friends or girls are going, a lot of times people want to spend a lot of time at Epcot and eat around the world, drink around the world, and it's right
exactly.
there.
Like,
I
literally walk to it.
and I prefer the beach club over yacht club for the theming of how it
I agree.
looks,
I
but it's
agree.
essentially the same thing.
It's very similar. I will say
Yeah.
Beach Club's a little more bright, and
Yes.
like beachy, like pinks and blues, that you
Yes.
see like beach houses painted, and then Yacht Club is more nautical. Because
Yes,
there's a
that's a
difference between
great way to
beachy and
describe it.
nautical.
Yeah. And it's very like so Caribbean beach is more like you're in the Caribbean at a beach versus this is like you're in Maine or you're in like the Hamptons or
Also,
something at the beach. So it feels a little bit, it's like the beaches with like the rocks and stuff like that. So it feels a
those
little bit more fancy
I completely
than that. So
yeah. And like fun tropical.
yes, yes.
Yes.
So I think I'm trying to think which other ones did we want to talk about?
I let's
Oh, the Riviera,
the last
my
one
favorite.
that we're gonna talk about today is one of Carter's favorites, so I'm gonna let her take it away.
The Riviera. And
Yeah.
the Riviera is a DVC resort, which means that every single room in this resort is either a deluxe studio, a one or two or three bedroom villa. So
Yes.
it's not your standard hotel room. Most of them will have like or all of them will have either a kitchenette if it's the studio or a full kitchen if it's the villa. Um, and I personally like it because the theming is my favorite. It is, you are on the European Riviera, the
Love
French
that.
Riviera, Italian Riviera. The food is my favorite.
They have great restaurants.
Oh my gosh, Topolino's Terrace is character
Ooh,
breakfast.
which is arguably, in my opinion, that's the character breakfast all my clients want.
Yes, yes, it is. And you know what? Rightly so, because it's
Rightly
delicious.
so. 10 out of 10.
So good. They bring you pastries in a paint bucket. Like, come on.
Oh, what?
Yes, I
And
mean it's
how
a
are
fake
many in the
paint
tea
bucket,
dress?
but like, yeah, they all dress like they're what is the word? Like they're like I don't
Artists.
artists, yeah, like Minnie. So Minnie's a poet, Daisy's a ballerina, Donald's a sculptor, and Mickey is the painter. Yeah, yeah.
That is so cute.
And the room, it's very bright. It's very like the rooms are white, the bedspreads are white, and they're like very natural light. The artwork is all it's Disney artwork, so it's like Remy and the Aristocats and Beauty and the
But like
Beast,
sketches.
like no, it looks like so you know, is it called like a still when they have the like when you paint a bowl of fruit or something?
Yeah,
You know
a
what I'm
still
talking
life.
about? So
Mhm.
it's like that, but then like
Took art in
Remy's
high
in it.
school.
Look at you. But then like Remy's in it. They'll do
Right.
stuff like that to where it's like it looks like it's just like a normal painting, but like it's actually the three geese from the Aristocats walking on the street. Yeah, like it's very it feels and it
Well done.
smells so good. It's very I the only way I can describe it is like I it feels like I would live there. Like that and the Grand Floridian to me are like, oh, this is me. The Grand Floridian feels a little bit more what did you say? Like old, not old, like classic maybe?
I would say kind of old money-ish.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Versus the Riviera feels like you're going to stay in a beautiful hotel in like Monaco or something like that. Yeah. It's and it is smaller. It's a very small resort, so it's everything's very easy to get to. It's on the Skyliner. We love that.
We love that
Um,
only deluxe resort on the Skyliner.
on the Skyliner. So, with all of that being said, there's really something for everybody. And there's
Everybody.
so many that we didn't even freaking talk about. Like,
Oh, so many. I mean, there's 20 plus resorts at Disney
yeah,
World. These are just our favorites and highlights of each category.
yeah, like it's
And they're
there's
great.
yeah, and it's so I think whenever that's my favorite thing. Like my favorite thing about either planning my trip or planning other people's trips is I'm like, which resort do you want to stay at? Like that's my favorite
That's
part. I'm like,
my
this is
favorite
the
part.
best part.
Especially with like returning clients, like clients
Mhm,
I've booked before. I'm like,
mhm.
okay, do we want something new or did you
Yeah,
love where you stayed last time so much? Just talking
yeah,
about the resorts is my favorite part.
it's so fun.
So, and that
Yeah,
being said, if you ever need help planning a Disney vacation, feel free to reach out to
yeah,
us in the email below. We
yeah.
would love
We
to
have our
assist
email,
because clearly we know our stuff.
and we
And
love
we just
Disney.
love to talk about it. With because every family is different. Every
Mhm.
family has different likes, different needs,
Yes,
and one resort that might be a great fit for one family
mhm.
isn't going to be a great fit for another. So it
And that's
just
okay. Yeah,
totally depends.
yeah.
And
And Disney
um,
should make a Guardians of the Galaxy
oh yeah.
hotel.
Oh yeah. We're coining it here. Disney reach out to us
Mhm.
if you want
Please,
to collab and make a Guardian of the
please.
Galaxy like galactic cruiser experience. Like
Yeah.
We're happy to help.
We're happy to help. Like that's our dream. And Savannah, you had a great idea. I want you to share your great idea before we go about meeting Rocket Raccoon, how that can be done. So I think that's
So I
important.
can so I can what?
How you said we could meet Rocket, like how the theme park should let you meet Rocket.
Oh, okay. So if you go to Universal,
Yes.
there either still is or there used to be this like interactive booth with that had Donkey, and he
Yes.
would talk to you and you could go up
Yes.
to the booth and talk to him. I think they should do that with Rocket. Like they could have a little stall where he's selling his electronics,
Stop, I
and
love him.
you could go up and be like, all right, what are you looking for today? A robotic arm? I stole one off of
I
that
love him,
Bucky guy.
Buggy.
Literally, I think that would be so much fun.
I would pee my pants. I would lose it. I love
Maybe
him.
crying, throwing up.
Maybe crying going, I really love Rocket Raccoon.
I
This
love
is
Rocket.
gonna turn into a Rocket Raccoon and Chris Evans fan podcast.
Well, Carter, you and I were talking about early a future episode, where we talk about attractive animated Disney characters.
So if you want to
Rocket,
see that,
if you want to see that, stay tuned. We do have a note. So
yes.
May 31st is a
Mhm.
Wednesday. We will not be releasing a new episode that week because we are going to be so busy
Yay.
pricing out options
2024.
for 2024 for our clients, because I
Yeah.
know the same things for you, Carter. All year long,
Yes.
I have people reaching out. Put me on your list of clients to contact
Yes.
when 2024 is released.
Yep.
So we have a lot of meetings that week, a lot of phone calls, a lot of
A lot of
emails.
exciting things.
So lots of exciting things. So, but don't worry, just because we aren't posting that Wednesday, we does not mean we won't be in the future. We will be back. Just, we're working girlies. We
We
gotta help
are.
our great clients. So we will be skipping that week. Today is tomorrow, or I guess today we're releasing it May 10th. So
Yeah.
you will hear from us the 17th and the 24th, but not
Yes.
the 31st.
Yeah. So we'll remind, but like that's
we'll remind. We didn't want people to be devastated.
yeah, because
But
we know that
you guys, we know. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Another great episode of Bibbidi
so
Bobbidi
much
Blondes.
fun.
I'm Savannah.
I'm Carter.
Love it. Love
Love
you guys.
you. See you next Wednesday.
Bye.